This is DJ the Prodigy Pen, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chuck Liddell, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, he's Vanderlei Jackson Murdo Silva, and you're listening Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tito Ortiz, the People's Champ, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Uriah Faber, the California Kid, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
This is Randy, the Natural Couture, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, this is Vitor Belfort, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Jacques Saint-Pierre, and welcome to Ringside Report Radio.
Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey.
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
Welcome to the show. It is Ringside Report Radio. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia is here with me. Anthony DeLezio is here as well. We're live on TSN 690 and online at ringsidereport.net. All our shows available for podcasts at ringsidereport.net. And you can follow us on Twitter, where Freddie at Freddie MMA just tweeted out that we are on the air. And we are indeed on the air live. You can follow me at Dave Simon MMA. And you can follow Anthony at Dan E. Bruck. UFC 224 going down tomorrow night. Bellator 199 going down tomorrow night as well. It is a big night in MMA. It feels like we've been in a down period in MMA, and now things are starting to pick up. Like UFC 224 is pretty good. 225 is maybe even better. And then 226 is going to be excellent when DC fights Stipe Miocic. I feel like we're entering a nice summer period here for the UFC. Anybody else feeling that?
I'm feeling it. Yeah, hopefully all these fights stay in line and we get a lot of action the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I hope these fights stick together, but so far, I mean, the fights tomorrow night have stuck together, right? The main fights that we want to see, Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington was the announced main event. It will go down tomorrow night in Brazil for the Women's Bantamweight Championship. We have Kelvin Gastelum taking on Ronaldo Jacare Souza in the co-main event. That was the announced fight, and it's going down. Injuries have not hurt this card. This has been a card that's stayed intact, and it's a pretty good card because not only do we have those two fights, but we also have Vitor Belfort taking on Lyoto Machida, two legends of the sport, two former champions in the UFC, two legends of Brazilian mixed martial arts. This is a really big Brazil fight taking place in Rio de Janeiro tomorrow night.
I'm wondering who the crowd's going to be behind, because Dana White used to say in Brazil they like to see Brazilian fight another nation. You know, the people over there, they're very patriotic. They like to cheer for their own. So who are they going to cheer for, Vitor or Lyoto?
Yeah, this is a cruel fight to put together, that's for sure. I mean, the two best legends ever going at it. I mean, it's cruel. Come on, Dave. This is
it's
a fight.
Cruel? What
it's
do you
cruel.
mean it's cruel?
You don't want to put two Brazilians against each other.
This is exactly
I mean, even
what you want to
Cyborg didn't
see.
want to fight against Nunes. It's like, well, I don't fight Brazilians because Brazilians don't fight each other.
What is this thing about Brazilians not fighting each other? Americans fight each other all the time.
Yeah, but it's
Canadians
different.
fight each other all the time.
It's
and you know
different.
what? Brazilians fight each other too. Brazilians fight each other all the time.
Plus,
I don't understand that thing about, some Brazilians don't want to fight each other. What's the deal with that?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would think that the nation most represented in the UFC is probably American, and after that, it's probably Brazilian. So, I mean, Brazilians have to fight Brazilians at some point.
They don't even fight at the buffet line. I mean, that's the thing.
What?
How do they get this good, then?
Listen.
Come on, Anthony, be logical.
Hey, listen, for myself, I want to see this fight regardless because both of these guys.
Yeah, so why are you arguing against it? Why all of a sudden?
No, I want to see the fight because
Brazilians.
I'm not Brazilian. But
you're not Brazilian.
I'm a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh yeah,
I've become kind of stamped Brazilian, but I for sure I want to see this fight. I would have loved to see this fight way back, but I don't know. It's a fight that
it's a tough one for the crowd.
It's a tough one for me, man.
It's a tough one for the Rio crowd, but it's not a tough one for me. I don't really care either way.
What?
I mean, I'm into the fight. I'm more of a Machida fan.
So who's your dog? Who's the person you got in this one?
Well,
Anthony?
Yeah, who do you want to win here?
Look,
who is your pick? I like Machida. Machida is the betting odds favorite to win.
You're right.
And I think he will win.
Yeah, and I'm going to be like, this is a hard one for me, but I love Machida. He's always been one of my favorite fighters, but Belfort has been a greater fighter for me. I have a lot more love for Belfort, and I think regardless of what the odds makers are saying, I think Belfort is going to leave with a big bang, and this is going to be his last win.
I'll make you happy. I'm with you. I'm going Vitor.
Wow,
also.
2 against
Vitor
1
by
against
TKO round 3. That's how it finishes.
I kind of want Lyoto to win, but I'm not sure if he's going to.
I don't know.
I'm not that convinced.
Like, Lyoto has had his own issues. He's been suspended. Like, he won his last fight, but other than that, you have to go back to 2014 for him to have a win. So
yeah, and who did he fight in his last fight?
Eric Anders. I don't really remember. Yeah, exactly. Eric Anders.
Yeah.
It was the main event.
Yeah.
Last February.
Yeah. He was 10-0 at the time, Eric Anders. But then he fought Machida, and,
Machida, yep.
Yeah. It was a split decision win there for Lyoto. I just feel like has Vitor been more active than Lyoto?
Well, in Montreal, he has.
Vitor's last fight was in June of last year. So it's been nearly a year since Vitor has fought. He beat Nate Marquardt by decision last year. That was his last fight.
It's true. I forgot about that. Vitor's been training in Montreal lately.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Anthony's also behind Vitor.
You know what? And I've been
Have you seen him around?
I've seen him around. I saw him at the TKO fights, and to be honest, I knew he was a big guy back in the days. For sure, he was taking magic juice.
He was on TRT. He was one of the guys that was on testosterone.
Yeah, he was a
replacement
beast.
Allegedly,
exactly.
No. He was on TRT. That's not allegedly. That's a fact.
Yeah, he was on magic juice. Come on, guys.
Well, magic juice is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's alleged.
Allegedly, exactly.
And there's no magic juice.
But at TKO, when I saw him, he was looking lean, mean, and he's a pretty big guy. He looks solid.
Well, I mean, Vitor Belfort without TRT looks good. I mean, like, he's an athlete. The guy is going to look good. But is he top level? I mean, his last fight was against Nate Marquardt, who's himself, he's not really the same fighter he once was. So, look, it's 2 veterans. I'm going with Vitor tomorrow. I hope he pulls off the win.
And he'll come back to Montreal and spend his money here. That's the way you do it.
Sure, that's good. I'm glad Vitor has made his second home here.
Kind of interesting, actually, right?
Yeah, it's a weird move at this point in his career, but hey, why not? Why not?
He likes the Putin.
Yeah. Vitor fighting Lyoto tomorrow night.
What are the odds?
I saw minus 270 for Lyoto.
Plus, that much?
Ooh, plus 235 for Vitor. Yeah. Lyoto is a pretty big favorite. These are odds from a couple days ago, though. These aren't the latest betting odds here, but I think that's pretty accurate. All right, what else do we have on this card? Jacare and Kelvin Gastelum?
It's a great card, man. That's awesome. Jacare, can't wait to see him fight.
Yeah, I know. We can't get the latest betting odds because for some reason the computers in the studio have blocked, any gambling website is blocked on these browsers.
What has happened?
I don't know.
I think it's Anthony's talk last time.
I think Anthony did something because Anthony was, I think, advocating gambling at some point.
Yeah, he was all mad because of that fight that ended up in TKO instead of submission.
Yeah. And he was saying, for gamblers, it's important.
So it's Anthony's fault.
Yeah, Anthony, you got all the betting sites blocked in the studio now. We can't,
I was pushing Lotto Quebec, too. They should be listening, supporting the show.
We can't check the odds.
Wait, I got it. I got it somewhere. Don't worry about it.
No, I'll deal with it. We'll get the betting odds. It's not the most important thing right now. What do you guys think about the main event? For me, the main event is not the fight on the card that I'm looking forward to the most. We just talked about the card or the fight that I'm most excited about.
Well, agree and disagree. Look, Vitor versus Machida has that old school, thing that is going to appeal to a lot of purists, fans that are from a long time ago. So
like me, I've been watching the sport for a while, and these two guys are legends, and it's a big deal fight.
But it's not a championship fight,
No.
and Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington is a championship fight. So you got to respect that and make it the main event.
For sure.
It happens sometimes that the main event isn't the most interesting fight, but it's still the main event. It deserves.
I agree. It deserves to be the main event, and it's a good fight. Raquel Pennington is on a nice little win streak. She beat Miesha Tate in her last fight, but that was in November of 2016.
But riding on this fight, there's a lot more, right, Dave? I mean, this is
what?
There's a lot more than just the main card between two women. It's
Can we settle down for a second? I'm trying to talk about the fight here.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
You know
Anthony.
where I'm going, right?
Yeah,
I'm waiting to say it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just fine. Just go there. I mean, you want to say that this is the first time that we have two openly homosexual fighters in a main event of a UFC pay-per-view. Amanda Nunes and Raquel Pennington are both openly lesbian fighters, and they are fighting each other tomorrow night in the main event. And yes, it's a big deal, and it's good, and it's all nice and stuff, but why is she getting the title shot when she hasn't fought since November 2016? Where's she been? 2016.
It's been a while.
That's a long time to stay away from the sport and then get a title fight. What's the deal with that? I think it's fine, that they're both openly gay or whatever. It's cool.
Well, that's
it.
I
fine.
mean,
to me, that isn't even a big deal at this point. Really, who cares?
Well, the UFC is making it a historical thing.
Yeah, fine. If the UFC wants to pat themselves on the back and say, oh, look at us, we have lesbians fighting for us. Yeah, good for them. I mean, it's good. It's a good example, I suppose.
Look, the UFC for a long time has been open, I think,
it's fine.
towards these issues. I don't think...
There's no openly gay male fighters in the UFC.
I think it would be
that's the big debate, right?
There's no debate.
Well,
what's the debate?
The UFC is sort of backing... is sort of going behind that and saying, you know what? The UFC could be the platform where you finally have a professional fighter coming out who's openly gay, and they're trying to push that. There's no one in football. Well, there was actually.
Look, it could probably happen because UFC is not a team sport, so an openly gay person could probably, without a doubt, get to the UFC and be successful. So the thing is how the public's going to react to him, and I think.
They're saying with open arms.
Yeah, I don't think there would be any issues these days. So I don't
think it matters at all.
I don't think it's that big of an issue. But once it happens on the male side, it's going to be a much bigger story than it is right now for the female because Liz Carmouche, when she fought Ronda Rousey, Liz Carmouche was openly gay. Ronda Rousey wasn't, but it's not like it's the first time we have an openly gay fighter in the UFC. It's happened
in the women's division.
Yeah, exactly. It's happened before.
It has happened before.
Yeah, but not competing for the bantamweight title, right?
Yeah,
this is the first time.
Well, Liz Carmouche was fighting
Ronda for the
Rousey.
bantamweight title. But this is the first time where both competitors
are open.
Okay. Well, that's
Which is
fine.
great. And I applaud the UFC for being open. Well, it's not even about being open. The UFC is hiring fighters, and they cannot discriminate for that. So props to everybody involved.
And they're both in relationships with other UFC fighters, too, right? Like Raquel Pennington is engaged to Tisha Torres or married or something, and then Amanda Nunes is with, what's her name?
Nina
Ansarov, who also fights for the UFC.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool story, but I'm more concerned about the fight. Why is Pennington? She's got a good win streak. The last fight she had was a win over Miesha Tate. She beat Betch Kohea, but that was in 2016. She didn't fight at all in 2017. She hasn't fought at all in 2018, and this is going to be her first fight here, and it's for the championship. I guess there's just a lack of title challengers for Amanda Nunes. But I understand why Amanda Nunes right now, and I've got some accurate betting odds because I have them on my phone. Nunes minus 900, Pennington plus 600. Nunes is a huge favorite. I'm seeing at different sites here, even as high as minus 950, Amanda Nunes. So
it went up to 1,000 at one point.
She is expected to beat Raquel Pennington And I agree with that. Nunes has been more active. She's fought tougher competition. She's got a more impressive resume. And I think that Nunes is just a more complete, better version of what Raquel Pennington brings to the table.
I'll be with you. I'm going with Amanda Nunes. My buddy Manu at Jiu-Jitsu this week was trying to convince me that Raquel Pennington was going to win.
How?
I don't know. I'm going with Nunes. You're saying who else could have fought Nunes? I'm not sure. You see, you look at the rankings right now. Holly Holm, she's pretty much out of the picture. Juliana Pena, she lost her last fight, so I guess it's Pennington.
Cyborg.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That should have been the main event tomorrow night. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, but
Cyborg.
you couldn't put it again of Brazilians against Brazilians.
Stop
Why
saying
not?
that.
You can't.
Why?
Stop saying that.
You can't. You just can't.
Why not?
They didn't do that. There was a reason for that. You're going to take away from the soul of the Brazilian fighters. You just can't do it. There has to be Brazil against the world.
That makes no sense.
It does, man. It makes a lot of sense. You can't put Cyborg.
I cannot understand.
And that's a fight that you can't have in Brazil. There's too much emotion involved.
That's like saying
Brazilians are emotional, man.
Look, when the Jamaicans were killing it at the 100 meters, could we only get Usain Bolt? I forgot who was the second guy, but there was a guy that was winning the silver medal, and he was from Jamaica
Who was
also.
that guy?
And he was racing, but was he racing as hard?
No, but I mean, we're still, like, Brazilians have to face Brazilians. Come on, Anthony.
Yeah, I know, but it's not going to happen in Brazil.
You know what? I don't think DC and Stipe should fight each other on American soil. It's too much. It's too much. American on American.
Wrestler
it's too
on
much.
wrestler? Oh, come on.
Yeah, wrestler on wrestler, American on American, and they're going to do it in the States? Unbelievable. It's disgusting. They shouldn't do it.
Civil war.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Donald Trump. Do I have to say anything more?
Trump, eh?
Okay? You can't do that.
You can't do that, man. Exactly. You can't do that. Thank you.
So you
Dave.
want to cancel the fight? Should we cancel the fight in July?
If I had
no DC and Stipe. You're saying if you had your way, nobody from the same country would ever fight
only
the
in
other
Brazil,
guy.
man. Only in Brazil. Only in Brazil.
Only Brazil.
Can we have Amanda versus Cyborg in the U.S.?
That
or
can
Canada?
happen.
Can we get
That's
that?
going to happen, yes.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay. You're
So-
allowed to have that.
You must
And that would be a
you
great
must
fight.
be really mad at this Vitor Lyoto
I am.
thing.
I wasn't happy to see that fight. I didn't think that was a really good fight.
Secretary of Brazilian Affairs or something here.
What is happening over there?
I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on. But anyways.
I think the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has gone to your head.
No, man. Like from way back, from the early days of like fighting, when they were fighting between like, the jiu-jitsu guys against the Muay Thai guys. There's already a lot of rivalry.
I love Brazil and their contribution to martial arts and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think it's the best. We all practice Brazilian jiu-jitsu here, but Anthony, let's take it easy over here, buddy.
I'm getting emotional, man.
We all love jiu-jitsu, Anthony. I get it, okay?
Who has a better jiu-jitsu game?
Oh boy.
Between the two.
Between who? Nunes and Pennington?
Yep.
Nunes, I'd say.
You
know why? Because she's Brazilian. I'm just giving it to her. Basically, is that wrong to say?
No.
I just assume she has better jiu-jitsu. Both of them pretty much stand up, though, right?
Yeah.
Nunes doesn't really go to the ground that much, although she has some good ground and pound.
But I
Just
would
her
say
stamina.
Nunes has better striking also. Nunes is a pretty good striker at
I agree.
bantamweight. One of the best female bantamweight strikers out there. So I'm going with Amanda Nunes tomorrow. TKO round, I don't know, 2 or 3. It doesn't go past that.
Yeah, I think it's going to end before the 4th round. I agree with that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Nunes puts her out within 3 rounds.
Really? Okay. I mean, I think
You
it's going to
don't?
go. I'm thinking it's going to go to the decision to Nunes. I think her stamina was always questionable, but it's going to go to the end. I think this fight is.
Yeah,
there's
it
going to be
could.
a lot of. There's going to be a lot of emotion behind it. I don't think she's going to knock her out, but I think it's going to be a decision win.
How about Jacare against Kelvin Gastelum? Now, this one,
that's a good one.
A little bit tighter as far as the odds.
What's it giving at now?
Jacare minus 140, Gastelum plus 130. So Jacare a slight favorite in this fight.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Going up as high as minus 160 in some places.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's an interesting fight, though. I like it a lot. Jacare, he's got good hands. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He's one of the best middleweights in the division. This is an important fight. This is an important fight for the middleweight division.
Yep.
Who's the number one contender right now for, what's his name? Whitaker.
Yoel Romero.
Right, but they're going to fight, right?
Yeah.
At some point.
They're fighting. That's Because Yoel, didn't he win an interim championship at some point? Oh, no, he didn't, right? Because he was overweight?
Yep.
But he defeated Luke Rockhold.
He beat Luke Rockhold. It was supposed to be for an interim title. Rockhold made weight. Yoel did not, but Yoel won, so he didn't get a title.
Yeah.
But he's still like the number one contender for Whitaker, a guy who he lost to already. But they're going to fight. But the winner of that fight is going to need to fight somebody, and it might be the winner of this one here tomorrow.
Look, it makes sense. The UFC ranking right now has Souza at number 2 and Gastelum at number 5. So
there you go.
Whoever wins is definitely in the mix. I'm looking at the rankings. Michael Bisping, who was champion not long ago, he's down to number 6. Maybe he's disrespected a little bit, but
well, he's looking for one final fight to kind of step out of the game. He might even be retired at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Jacare versus Gastelum's a great fight, I think. To me, both of them are mainly grapplers, so I would give the edge at Jacare in the grappling. And as far as the striking, I might even give the edge to Jacare in the striking also. So sometimes these fights, it cancels out the grappling and it stays standing up a lot. So might be one of these type of fights we see tomorrow. But I give the edge to Jacare in both.
Here's what I wonder about this fight. Jacare, 38 years old. I think we've probably seen the best version of Jacare before. Kelvin Gastelum at 26 years old, I don't think we've seen the best version of Gastelum.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. That's
it's
for
hard.
Sure.
It's hard to know what is going to happen in this fight because it depends on what version of Gastelum shows up. Gastelum a year ago was submitted by Chris Weidman with an arm triangle in the third round of their fight. Now, what does he learn from that?
How not to get caught in a triangle?
Yeah, maybe he's learned, what has he worked on? And has he learned enough, has he worked on enough to avoid getting caught in the trap of Jacare, who we know he's looking to beat you, he's looking to tap you out, right?
For sure.
That's what Jacare is looking to do. Submissions are his game. I'm just looking at his record right now, and of his 25 victories, 17 are by submission.
Yeah.
That is a high percentage of submission finishes for Jacare Souza. So if you're Gastelum, you need to avoid getting caught by Jacare. And it's going to be a question of can he? And if he can, what can his hands do? Can he hit Jacare and hurt him?
He's got a lot of power.
Gastelum is.
Sure.
A lot of power, very strong, and a good wrestler. He's got a good enough wrestling base to maybe avoid the jiu-jitsu of Jacare. But I'm not sure. To me, that's the most intriguing fight tomorrow night. Like, okay, Lyoto and Vitor, that's cool. Amanda Nunes, it's probably going to be a blowout in her favor. She should win. She's a big favorite. But this one here, I don't know. It could go many ways. This is a very good fight. I like Gastelum and Jacare.
It depends on the cardio, I think, Dave.
Well, if it depends on the cardio, wouldn't you give the advantage to a 26-year-old guy as opposed to a 38-year-old guy? Even though Gastelum has come in heavy for some fights, maybe not in top shape, right?
What about, isn't there a size advantage also for Jacare?
Yeah, I think so.
Because Gastelum's a little bit small at middleweight.
Yeah. He probably should be fighting at 170. He used to fight at 170, but he couldn't make the weight.
Like, if there's a lot of clinching and all that, I kind of like Jacare in those moments. So I'm sticking with Jacare. Plus the home crowd.
Exactly.
I'm sticking with Jacare tomorrow.
I'm going with Jacare, too. I think the home crowd, will play in his favor. Because those people, they make a difference. They really do. The treatment the Gastelum is getting this week, it's not fun for him. You see UFC employees were robbed at gunpoint outside of the Fighter Hotel?
What? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That can't be fun.
Well, that's Brazil, too,
That
right?
happened yesterday.
It's emotional.
It happened yesterday. That's Brazil for you. They were robbed at gunpoint. The people escaped in a vehicle. They got all sorts of belongings stolen. What are you laughing at over there?
I'll tell you.
It's not funny. It's not funny at all.
It happened at the Olympics. You remember that?
Fred,
they got robbed. Some of the Olympians got robbed in Brazil.
No, didn't they make that up?
No, they actually got robbed.
Wasn't there a swimmer who made up a story about getting robbed? Was that in Brazil?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about, but
Ryan
I'm not sure
Lochte?
if it was in Brazil.
Lochte, right? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That
He
was
made it up.
At a gas station. That was in Brazil, right? Muscles Marco giving me the info. That was in Brazil. Yeah, they made that up, Anthony.
No, there
Fake
was some
news.
other guys, man,
Anthony,
for sure.
once
Come on.
again, spreading fake news.
No,
I will
man.
not allow you to spread fake news on our airwaves, not on Ringside Report Radio.
So you're
Anthony.
basically saying to the people that you could walk in Brazil safely right now.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
yeah. Not if you're not
in the
apparently
favelas
not.
of Brazil. Dave Simon walking.
That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm telling you, UFC employees were robbed yesterday at gunpoint outside the hotel by the beach.
What the heck? Okay.
I'm not saying that it's safe at all.
You see, now I
Did
kind
you
of
just hear what I'm saying?
miss the days that Conor McGregor is throwing dollies to buses. You see,
That
that's
seems
kind of safer.
Yeah, it is a lot safer.
At least there's no guns involved.
Goodness. Terrible.
Bring back Conor. Give him a dolly.
Anthony, I know you're excited to talk about one fight on this card.
You know exactly what I'm going to say.
Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Cooper, a fight in the women's... I don't know what division this is supposed to be.
Tell us
what weight
your
class
love for her.
What weight class
My
is
love.
this supposed to be? 115 pounds? Because Mackenzie...
Looks more like a straw weight.
116.
It's supposed to be the 116 is the limit, right?
Yeah.
Mackenzie weighed in at 123 pounds today and will forfeit 30% of her purse to Amanda Cooper. What do you have to say for your favorite, Mackenzie Dern?
I said it last time. I said Dern is going to be like the face of the UFC, and again, she's
You gotta
fighting
make
in
weight.
short. She's got to make weight, yes. And I said it on Twitter. I said, damn those Brazilian buffets. They're horrible. There's so much to eat at those places, and that's exactly what she did. It's Mackenzie Dern.
I mean, Anderson Silva always made weight. Vitor Belfort, I'm pretty sure, always made weight.
Anderson Silva was sponsored
Lyoto,
by Burger
Machida,
King.
Amanda Nunes always made weight. I mean, even Chris Cyborg, who struggles, has been making weight when she's contracted.
Stop blaming it on Brazilian food, Anthony.
Come on.
It's the buffets,
How about
man.
being a professional?
How about
Listen,
showing up?
Listen,
You know
right.
what? You know what?
It's not the first time that's happened.
Let's listen.
Yeah, let's listen to
Oh, no.
something Fred had prepared for
I gotta
us,
hear
okay?
this. Is it fake? Or is
I
it
know Mackenzie Dern is your favorite,
real? Oh no, I got to hear this.
right? Here is her opponent on Fox Sports 1, Amanda Cooper, talking about your favorite, Mackenzie Dern.
Amanda, that was a pretty intense stare down up there. What was going through your mind?
It's a fight that I've been wanting. I'm really excited for it. There's a lot of emotions today. I had a tough cut, and my opponent, kind of disrespected me in the sport, and I think the Brazilian fans. So, there's a lot of emotion because I am emotional. I'm upset. I'm mad. I think everyone else should be. There's too many cheers for someone that misses weight by not a small portion, but a large portion. And let me tell you what, I cannot wait until tomorrow night.
Was it difficult for you to say, yes, I will take this fight even though she's so much over? Or what went through your mind at that point?
As soon as I heard that Mackenzie was going to wait, I almost started crying. I'm like, whatever I have to do to make weight, whatever I have to do to get this fight, I am not going home with some money. I'm going home as a winner. And that's all that mattered to me was I'm going to take this fight, and it's going to be everything that I thought of, everything that I called. I'm going to beat this girl.
How do you believe you get it done? Because this is something where she wants to take it to the canvas. We know where she's most skilled. What are you expecting to do out there?
I'm already expecting a broken Mackenzie Dern. She's couldn't make the weight. She couldn't get the stuff done. She missed her flight getting here. Like, that is not a professional. I'm going to stuff her shots. I'm going to punch her in the face, and I'm going to break her more than she's already broken.
We are so looking forward to this fight. Amanda, best of luck to you. Real pleasure to speak to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
There you go. That's Amanda Cooper taking on Mackenzie Dern tomorrow night from Fox Sports 1 earlier today at the ceremonial weigh-in where Mackenzie weighed 7 pounds over the limit.
Dave, I'm disappointed.
What are you disappointed about?
I'm really disappointed. I was all hyped up when you said you had like a message from Dern, and I'm like, no, he actually got in touch with Dern to say a message to me directly.
No,
I was waiting for that.
Amanda Cooper. What do you have to say to Amanda Cooper?
I think
who
Amanda
did
Cooper
everything right.
Yeah,
showed up. Come on. You can't be defending Mackenzie Dern.
Listen, my
missing
girl,
weight by 7 pounds. How unprofessional is that?
What unprofessional? Come on, 7 pounds. But anyways, no, you're
7
right.
pounds.
Division.
It's another weight division, Anthony.
I know,
7 pounds is ridiculous.
Listen, she could have refused to fight. Okay, she could have refused to fight.
No, but she's a warrior.
She is a warrior. By tomorrow, she's going to be up like Amanda will be up another 7-8 pounds herself.
I'll tell you what. If tomorrow the crowd is yelling to Amanda Cooper, "You're gonna die," and at the same time, I'll be Dave's gonna be able to tell me if Anthony's joining to the chant.
He definitely will be.
I'll be really disappointed because come on, you can't be missing weight by 7 pounds and still be cheered. Like there's a level. I don't care about nationality in here. There has to be some type of professionalism.
No, you're right. But there might be something behind it. She says she missed flight. There might have been something that happened. Who knows? The last couple of days in camp,
she didn't even try to continue. Like she knew she wasn't gonna make weight, as Amanda said, and she didn't try to cut more weight, which to me is also like poor sportsmanship. Like it's something to miss weight by 1 or 2 pounds. By 7 pounds is that you really said to yourself, I'm not even trying to cut the weight all the way. I'm just admitting I'm not going to get there.
Mackenzie Dern right now minus 245. The favorite, Amanda Cooper plus 225. I like Amanda Cooper's odds because it does not seem like Mackenzie Dern is that prepared for this fight. Missing flights, missing weight. She doesn't seem like she's ready to go.
Didn't look that good in their first fight either.
I think she's
did
prepared.
Not look great in her first fight.
Well, that was her first fight. I thought she looked pretty good in her first fight.
I am not convinced that Mackenzie Dern will definitely win tomorrow.
I think she's going to win, but I'm not cheering for her.
She probably will win, but
I'm not cheering for her.
I'm not impressed.
Hey, look, it's her second fight, guys, in the UFC. Look, let's be honest.
She comes in with special treatment because she's Mackenzie Dern.
She's not special treatment.
Yeah, she's getting attention that other fighters doesn't get because, look, she's a name. I agree, no problem.
But she can back
be
up
a professional.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't have this is not the first time in her career she misses weight. I don't have it in front of me, but
she failed twice in strawweight. That's
she
true.
needs to move to 125 pounds.
So you know what? That's what's going to happen. Maybe she's not. I've met Mackenzie Dern. I spoke with Mackenzie Dern.
I'm sure.
I was with her dad in the sauna. That's a totally different story.
You're sure you were
I don't want to know
that
story.
You know who her dad is, by the way? Her dad is Megaton.
Of course we know.
Megaton Diaz. He's one of the world's best grapplers in the world. She comes from a strong pedigree of grappling.
To miss weight.
No, but you're right. But she's had a problem even in jiu-jitsu tournaments to make weight. So it's a history of this problem. Well, listen, it's not easy to make weight. You know, I have a big issue with that. I have a hard time, like sometimes.
Of course,
cut 5
it's not
pounds.
easy, but everybody else on the card did it.
But you know what?
She's the only one who missed.
I know,
okay?
It's her second fight. Let her get a little bit more seasoned in the UFC.
Whatever.
Stop defending her.
Yeah,
Mackenzie,
just be critical.
You're gonna win.
We just
You're
had
a
to see
professional broadcast journalist, Anthony.
That's right. Get your act together.
Next time, get him.
Anthony.
I was waiting for her to give me a message. You guys ruined it for me. Mackenzie, don't worry. You're going to win tomorrow. Okay. Second round submission. Guaranteed.
Anthony, we should make the announcement right now.
What
tomorrow night, big announcement. Tomorrow night after UFC 224, Anthony and I will be live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, for a live special UFC 224 podcast.
I'll be wearing my Mackenzie shirt.
Do you have one?
I'm going to get one.
Okay.
I'll get it for tomorrow.
So Anthony and I will be doing a live UFC 224 post show that you'll be able to watch and comment on our YouTube channel tomorrow night right after UFC 224. And also Bellator 199. We've got Ryan Bader versus King Mo and Paul Daly and John Fitch fighting tomorrow night. We'll get to Bellator. We'll also give you the latest on George St. Pierre. Is he coming back to fight Nate Diaz?
Looks like it's going to happen.
I don't know. We'll see. And also, Steve Bosse, the boss, is going to fight Jean Pascal in a boxing ring. It's the Quebec version of McGregor and Mayweather? Or is it? Fred's not so happy about it. We'll get to that. It's Ringside Report Radio live on TSN 690.
How you doing? This is Chris Wyman, and welcome to Ringside Report Radio.
Hi, this is Roy Big Country Nelson, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio. This is still Mr. Wonderful Davis, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
Hi, this is Mark Munoz, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio since 2006.
Okay, welcome back. It is Ringside Report Radio. I am Dave Simon, Fred Garcia, and Anthony D'Alessio here with me. Settle down, guys. Settle down. What's happening over there? Relax.
We're worried about you over there.
No, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about me.
Dave's losing it, man. He's talking to himself.
No. Nah. All right, Bellator 199 going down tomorrow night. Where is this thing? San Jose, of course. Oh, Chuck Congo's on this card? Nice.
Against who?
Javi Ayala. 29 years old, 6'1", American from California. 10-6 record, lost to Roy Nelson in his last fight.
They should have made the heavyweight. They should have made the Grand Prix with more heavyweight there. Their tournament, like Czech Congo,
Czech Congo has won 5 straight fights. 42 years old, he's won 5 in a row.
He's 42.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been a while then.
Okay. Yeah,
found a little place in Bellator.
Well, he hasn't been in the UFC since UFC 159 in 2013.
Wow.
He was in the UFC for a long time, though, from 2006 to 2013.
The darkness.
That's right, man. The guy was a monster. Still is. I think he's probably going to win tomorrow night, right?
Who's he fighting? What's his name?
This guy, Javi Ayala. I just told you about him.
Sorry.
Anthony, why don't you pay attention to
Sorry,
this show?
man, I'm going through that.
Goodness. How about John Fitch and Paul Daly? That's a good fight.
Yep.
Fitch, the wrestler, Fitch. He needs the takedowns. Paul Daly, of course, keeps it standing. He could put Fitch out.
Fitch, he's still 37-1. Okay.
What?
37-1 on his record.
That's impossible.
No. That's what it says here, man.
No.
Don't argue with Bellator.
I know what Anthony's saying. It's not 37-1.
No, 37-1. Did you think I said 37-1?
That's what you said, though.
Did it sound like that?
I heard 37-1 like 5 times.
Okay. Now. It is 30 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw one draw with BJ Penn. Not
You're doing
37,
it on purpose, right?
Not 37 wins and 1 loss. The 1 loss in his career wasn't to George St. Pierre. He lost to GSP and 6 other dudes. But Anthony, Anthony's a little confusing when he announces things like that, right, Fred? It did sound like he was saying 37-1.
No, I said 30.
I think that was on purpose also.
It was. To make Fitch seem more impressive. Fitch has won 4 in a row, though. He beat Yushin Okami, Joseph Farino, Jake Shields, and Brian Foster in his last fight, so he's won 4 in a row. Good little run John Fitch is on. Daly has, he won his last fight. He knocked out Lorenz Larkin. Before that, though, he fought Rory McDonald and lost to him. Daly's tough, man. Daly still has that knockout power. I wouldn't count him out here. I know Fitch is a great wrestler, and Daly in the past. Remember, of course, when Daly fought Fitch's teammate Josh Koscheck here in Montreal, and Koscheck just took him down at will, and Daly got so mad about it, he punched Koscheck after the bell, and then Dana White banned him from the UFC forever.
Yeah, weird. I remember that.
Right?
Yep.
Of course. And
similar fight.
It's a similar type matchup right here with John Fitch, but I don't know, man. Fitch has been around for a while. He's done well recently, but Hendricks knocked him out. Hendricks is the only guy to ever knock out John Fitch. Oh, no, Wilson Govea did back in 2002. That's how long Fitch has been fighting. He's been fighting for a long time, and I just wonder, at 40 years old, can John Fitch still take Paul Daly's punches? Paul Daly's still a heavy hitter, and he's 35 years old, so he does have some youth, I guess, on him, but he's still not a young man. Paul Daly. Daly's been in the game for a long time. These are 2 veterans, 2 guys you've heard of, been fighting for a long time, former UFC fighters. Fitch fought GSP for the title,
Look, you said it well. Age and the power is probably on Paul Daly's side. But other than that, everything's on John Fitch's side. I think Fitch is a better MMA fighter, a better wrestler, definitely. I think he's more experienced in big fights. So I'm going with John Fitch. If you tell me both guys are in good shape, I'm taking the skills of John Fitch. I think he wins even at 40.
I think Paul Daly's going to hit him and put him down. I don't know. I just got a feeling that Fitch, he'd be able to take him down maybe once or twice, but eventually I think Daly's going to drop him. I don't know, though. Could go. I think it's going to go either one of two ways, right? Either Fitch repeated takedowns and he beats him John Fitch style and just kind of grounds and
frustrates him.
Yeah, it's a decision win, or Daly hits him and knocks him out. Right now, the odds have it in John Fitch's favor, -160, Daly +150. Anthony, I like Daly. Fred likes Fitch. Where are you going with? Fitch?
No, I'm going with Daly as well. I think it's going to be a stoppage with Daly. I've loved Fitch for a long time. I think his wrestling was awesome, but I don't think time has played him that well, and I think Paul Daly is going to win this.
Why are you talking to your microphone next time?
What? I wasn't talking in the mic?
No, you're not talking to the microphone. This is what you sound like. Hey, I'm over here. Anthony. You can't really hear me, but oh, here I am now. I'm Anthony.
Back.
Oh, I'm back over here. Oh, Anthony. Why are you talking to the microphone, Anthony?
Sorry, man.
Get it together.
You're more prepared usually.
Yeah.
What?
Usually more
got
professional.
here in a rush, you know.
Yeah, it was. You know what? Montreal traffic, man. That's what it does to you.
Don't blame your poor performance on Montreal traffic.
I'm blaming it on the mayor.
Oh,
if she's
no.
listening. Let's call her out.
Yes. Madame Plante is always listening.
Yeah, Madame Plante.
We salute you, Madame Plante.
Madame Plante.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, that'd be a great matchup.
And
Make them go in the
Stephanie
ring together.
McMahon. That's
there's a
terrible.
problem. That's obvious.
There's a big problem, and
What?
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from there immediately. We're just gonna
cardio. That's what the problem is.
Cardio. You're right.
Hey Fred, why don't we cut Anthony's mic and settle down here for a second? How about Ryan Bader and King Mo Lawal going down tomorrow night in the main event? That's a fight we should be discussing, not other fights.
You're right.
So?
You okay there, Fred?
Your thoughts? Fred's dying over
Fred
here.
is
Fred
laughing about good there.
Fred's dead now. Sorry, guys. My condolences to Fred's family. Fred just died. Thoughts and prayers with them.
I'm alive.
He's back. Okay, good. Oof, that was scary.
Muscles Marco had to give him like mouth to mouth, maybe.
Yeah, Muscles Marco just breathed life into him. Thanks, Marco. Thanks for saving Fred.
The show must go on, man.
I'm perfect. As far as the fight, I'm going with Ryan Bader. Never been a believer of King Mo. I think he's always been overrated. A lot of hype because he wears a crown.
Yeah, when you call yourself king, people start to believe it.
Yeah, Burger King, more like it. But anyways.
Well, he won some fights in Sengoku, and people were impressed.
Yeah, okay.
He did beat Gegard at some point.
So did a couple of other people.
Yeah, I guess. King Mo's last fight was a victory, though, over Rampage Jackson. Yo, did you hear about Rampage Jackson maybe fighting 50 Cent in Bellator in
I
December?
read about it. I can't believe it.
Oh,
really?
My God. I want to see that so badly. Don't you want to see Rampage beat up 50 Cent really bad? Because 50, he thinks he's tough, and he probably thinks he can fight, and I bet you in his mind, he thinks he has a chance against Rampage Jackson.
Yeah, right.
But we know it's still Rampage. Rampage would squash 50 Cent in a minute.
50 Cent will be like a quarter by the end of the fight. That's his new name, quarter.
If 50 really thinks he could do it, I would love to see him try. And that would be great for Bellator. Don't you want to see... Okay, no.
Dave, what is he
Rampage
smoking,
Jackson versus 50 Cent? That is a fun fight when Rampage... He gets to beat up 50 Cent. It would be fun, man. He could powerbomb him. He could do whatever he wants.
I hope he hates his music, so this way here there's a reason to beat him even more.
No, I don't think it's a musical thing. They're just talking smack.
But you know what? I don't understand these guys. Do they really think that they're going to go up against a professional fighter? No matter how out of shape Rampage is, he's still an MMA fighter.
You ever heard of CM Punk?
Yeah, exactly. What about Rampage against CM Punk?
What,
Rampage versus CM Punk?
Not Rampage. I mean 50 Cent.
CM Punk against CM Punk will smash him, man.
Yeah, I think CM Punk would smash 50 Cent, too.
It'll be like back to a quarter again.
I mean, I think that would be the most fair fight for both of them.
What?
So.
50 Cent? What does he have as his skills other than
Punk
throwing videos and...
Punk is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
That's
50?
right.
What's 50?
50 is what?
Nothing.
He's a rapper. What is he?
Didn't he win some boxing amateur thing? He's an amateur boxer.
When did he do that? 1993?
Punk's pretty old also and looked awful in his first fight, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Are these guys for real? It kills me.
CM
it doesn't
Punk
make
will
any
be
sense.
fighting next month, by the way. Next month.
I
Punk
can't
is
wait.
fighting.
I'm pumped for that.
Me too.
You know what? He's been training like crazy. People don't realize that this guy's a real athlete. He's a real athlete.
CM Punk is all in.
That's right, man.
If you know what I mean. You don't know what I mean.
No, I don't.
That's
actually,
okay.
But it sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
50 cents.
That's another
Come
thing.
on.
That's a pro wrestling
What is
thing.
this? What a joke.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Does he still
it's
make
being
music?
talked about. So
Maybe
I think
he needs money. That's what it
yes,
is.
I think he does something. I don't know. He's on Power. I like Power. It's a pretty good show.
What the heck is that?
It's a TV show.
I'm out of sorts, buddy.
It's called Power. It's good. 50's on it. It's all right.
I gotta watch it now.
Anyhow, King Mo is a underdog plus 290. Ryan Bader minus 320.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I've got Bader to win this thing. How do you see it going down though? Does Bader knock him out, or does he win a decision? I think Bader just wins everywhere. I don't see them really wrestling much.
No, it's
because
gonna be a crush.
you know Bader.
Rampage doesn't make it to the end, though. I think Bader.
We're not talking about Rampage.
And
King Mo.
King Mo.
Yeah,
I'm a
there's
little
something in
mixed
the
up
air here, man.
Yeah,
but Bader overwhelms him, and he wins that fight.
I heard 50 Cent is an alternate in the Bellator Heavyweight Grand Prix. No, I'm kidding. He's not. He's not. Yeah, but I think Bader wins. You think it's going to go decision? Decision.
No.
Right? TKO?
Bader overwhelms him.
He's
Really?
gonna smash him.
Yeah.
Man.
King
What
Mo-
round? What round?
Come on, King Mo's not that good.
What
King
round?
Mo's going to get finished. I don't know, but King Mo doesn't make it past
AJ?
round 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be like a mauling. That's what's gonna happen. King Mo is gonna go out quickly, and
Bader's a legit fighter. Come on, he
Exactly.
was a legit top 7 guy in the UFC. I mean,
And didn't you actually call the fact that Bader was gonna win the heavyweight, Dave?
Yeah, I said.
So. Like,
I
seriously,
said from the beginning, Bader's going to win the heavyweight Grand Prix.
I don't
What are
agree
you
with
doing
you.
over there?
I'm just cleaning the mess over here. Don't
Why are
worry
you
about
making a mess? I'm hearing all sorts of stuff on your microphone. There's all sorts, like, you're really messing things up tonight. What is happening?
I don't know what the hell's going on here. But
There's like all sorts of like this, like
coffee sponsored by
this
Tim
is like
Hortons.
all of this is going on. You're spilling stuff. You're trying to clean it up, and you don't want to let me know.
You really need to go to professional broadcast journalism school.
I think I need to
What
take
the heck with-
I need
Come
to
on.
take you to school, Anthony, because you are failing right
Hey,
now.
man, it's. What were we talking about again? What was,
Oh,
what's the
wow.
topic?
Again, another failure. Fred wanted to talk about Yair Rodriguez, and he did not want to talk about Jean Pascal and Steve
Oh
Bosse.
yeah, Bosse.
But we'll get to both
Oh, I
here
can't wait for
real
that.
quickly. Yair Rodriguez was released by the UFC for refusing fights. They offered him Zabit Magomed Sharipov. He refused it. And the UFC matchmaking just said, look, we're offering him fights, and he doesn't take any, so we're going to let him go. Many MMA promotions, I'm sure, are looking into getting Yair Rodriguez. He's a top fighter at 145.
Well, he's a good young fighter, but I don't know if he's a top fighter. I mean, he's lost a couple of fights in the UFC. And with that said, you know my position is if a guy's under contract with the UFC, he should be fighting whoever the UFC tells him to fight. I don't like guys trying to dictate who they're going to fight and who they're not going to fight. If you're Yair Rodriguez, you're not a big enough star to make demands. I mean, what were the fights offered? Ricardo Lamas and what was the other one?
Magomed Sharipov.
Yeah,
there?
Zabit. Yeah, exactly.
Zabit.
So, I mean, those are hard fights, but hey, you're supposed to be a young prospect. Who do you want to be fighting? I mean, those are the type of fights that the fans probably want to see, I would think. So,
I agree.
So, like, I don't like the fact that he's refusing fights, and I'm a big believer that the UFC should be booking fights, not the fighters.
You're right. I agree with that.
I
Unless
just
you're a
don't
big
think-
name.
Unless you're a big name,
Yeah.
then you can call some of your own shots.
But I mean, if you're like Demetrius Johnson, okay, maybe. But
Mm.
even in his case, I was like, no, if the UFC wants to make him fight TJ Dillashaw, you fight TJ Dillashaw.
What if you're George St. Pierre?
You could call it. I mean, you've earned your.
George a different thing, because George is almost like semi-retired, or he fights on his own schedule.
George is a special attraction. He's not a UFC main roster fighter.
Anderson Silva is a special attraction.
Well,
McGregor.
Anderson
I mean,
Silva
everyone.
has been suspended into retirement. Anderson Silva's done
but
forever.
I mean, like George, there's
Too
some
bad.
guys like that you don't just put against any jabroni. I mean, but if you're a young, up-and-coming fighter, hey, you don't start dictating who you're going to fight or not.
Yair, when he came into the UFC, when I saw his first fights, it was amazing. I looked at him as saying, this guy's going to be something special in the UFC. He's only 25 years old. Refusing fights at 25, there's a problem. He doesn't get to pick and choose. He doesn't have a clean record. And for sure he's going to end up in Bellator. Obviously, there's an offer on the table.
He's a good fighter, but he's coming off a loss to Frankie Edgar, so he's not really in a great bargaining position to be refusing fights. You know, he's got a 10-2 record. He beat BJ Penn, and that was really gifted to him. I mean, he beat BJ Penn in 2017 when BJ Penn had no business in the octagon, and Yair Rodriguez got to be the guy to have BJ Penn on his resume.
Yeah. But it might be beneficial for him in the end, because if he goes to Bellator, he might be fighting a roster that's a little less deep. He's still young. He could be packing some wins, still make a name for himself. But I just don't like the look, of him refusing fights. Yeah, exactly. So for his career, it doesn't mean it's the end.
What do you think about Nate Diaz refusing to maybe fight George St. Pierre? I think George wanted this fight. The UFC seems to be wanting this fight. Dana White saying they wanted this fight. August 4th, UFC 227 in Los Angeles. They want the Diaz brothers in their home state of California. But it seems like Nate, according to a post on Twitter, he called George a cheater and said he was on steroids and, typical Diaz brothers stuff. And it seems like that fight is not happening for Nate, which is disappointing because I thought that would have been kind of fun.
Yeah, but it's still not over. It might still happen, right?
And it would have been at 155, which is what I've been telling you. George would drop down to 155. It's probably easier for him to make 155 than it is to make 185, and it's a path to Conor McGregor. You drop to 155, you prove that you can A, make the weight, and then B, beat a guy like Nate Diaz, who's a top-level 155er who's already beat Conor, and then you get McGregor.
For George, I think it's an easy fight. I think the blueprint would be Rory McDonald against Nate Diaz when he dominated Nate in Toronto. Look, if you're
George against Nick Diaz when he dominated him in Montreal.
Yeah, but remember that Rory fight against Nate. Nate did absolutely nothing. Like, it was a mauling.
Yeah.
But look, if it's a fight on the for George that's available, yeah, it makes sense, and it's a path to Conor McGregor. So yeah, I would agree. I would say though, Nate, he's probably a big enough star where he could choose who he wants to fight. I'm talking about Rodriguez earlier. I think Nate with the stardom he reached against Conor McGregor makes him that, he could say no to a fight if he wants. But hey, George would make sense for him also. Like, that's some money.
That's a good fight. But does it make sense for him, though? Because...
Well, it makes money and nobody expects him to win.
Well, that's it. Nobody expects him to win, and George is bigger than him. Does he really want to be fighting a welterweight like George St. Pierre who could just take him down? It's not an easy fight. I think we'd all pick George to win. If you're Nate, why do you want to take that fight? Other than the money, and the money would be good. But, do you want to lose to George St. Pierre? Do you really want to let this man, George St. Pierre, who already beat your brother, beat you too? If I was a smaller guy and a bigger guy called me out and he already beat my brother, I'd be like, no, I'm not fighting you, man. Screw you. I don't know if I'd want to fight this guy.
Don't you want to avenge him?
Yeah, but what if he's bigger than me?
So what?
And he's George St. Pierre.
Well, Nate's a pretty big lightweight.
Yeah, but come on, man.
Look, I think Nate, what he wants is money.
Nate at welterweight was not as successful as he is at 155.
No, he got killed by Rory, as I was saying. But,
right.
Nate wants money. To him, it's money that's important. Conor McGregor gives him money, but Conor McGregor's not fighting right now. So who else brings in money? Hey, GSP would bring money for Nate. So
exactly.
If it's about money, GSP makes sense, but as far as style-wise, no, GSP would maul him.
The fight makes a lot of sense. The fight makes more sense for GSP than it does for Nate, right? Makes a lot more sense for George.
Yes. It's a fight, I think, 95...
I was excited about it.
I was going to say 95% of the people would pick George, but hey, the Diaz has such a following. Remember, every sane person, I feel, knew that George would beat Nick Diaz, but it felt like it was 50-50 out there. There was so many Diaz fanboys out there that thought that Nick had a chance, and they probably think Nate has a chance.
Yeah, I don't think Nate has a chance. I think George would win that fight. But, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing it. And it would be a challenge for George to see what he can do, dropping to under 55 pounds. It's a different animal all the way down in that different weight division,
Look,
right?
it might not happen for August, Dave. This fight might actually happen at some point. It might not happen in August, but if it keeps going back and forth, it might be one of these fights that we see at the end of the year for the big card, like for the UFC to end 2018. I could see something like this happening sometime in October.
What I think
maybe
is
November, December. It could happen.
What I think is very interesting is George willing to drop down to 155 pounds potentially.
But that's hard, man. I think.
Okay, but if he thinks he can do it
with the condition that he has, that he's talking about,
if he thinks he can do it, if it's being talked about, it's very interesting because George could then win a championship in that division. George could fight Khabib. There are bigger names to fight right now in the sport at 155 for George. Bigger money fights than at 170.
Yeah, but
the money fights like Khabib, like Conor, like Nate are at 155. So if George can make 155, that opens up a new world.
Dave, at 36, do you think he's going to have that capability to go down to 155?
He's George St. Pierre. He's Superman. He can do anything.
Yeah?
Are you kidding me? He beat Michael Bisping. He's a middleweight and welterweight champion. He's the greatest fighter to ever live.
Okay. He's got alienation. Fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
he's half alien.
He's reptile, man.
Yeah, it's even better.
Anthony, come on. You're scared of saying bad things about Vitor because you might, come across him, but you'll say like you don't think George is able to go down?
How dare you?
No, no. If George is listening, George, you know that I like you. That's for sure, George. You're my boy. But just in case you want to pound me or what?
Hashtag you're my boy.
But at 155, seriously, the guy walks around maybe at 195 with his what does he have? He has Crohn's or something. What is it?
George, call in right now.
George, come on.
514-790-1690. 514-790-1690. The show's over, but we will keep the show. Yeah, we're done. We're out of time.
I was just getting into it.
Well, you're cutting in on Freddie Coleman, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Freddie Coleman.
But seriously, George, we will extend the show for you. If you want to call right now, George, and set Anthony straight, 514-790-1690. He usually listens but doesn't like to call.
Come on, George.
We've asked him to call before, but he doesn't like to do it. I know he's a private guy. He doesn't want all the questions. He knows we're going to ask him questions, and he doesn't want to answer. So, George, you can just listen and enjoy the show at home. Have a nice weekend. We love you, George. Happy Mother's Day to your mom. Happy Mother's Day to all moms this weekend.
You're a good guy, Dave.
On Sunday, don't forget about Mother's Day.
That's right. Never forget your mom.
Yeah. Well, I saw a birth about 10 months ago, so I have an appreciation for mothers and what they go through. It is crazy.
Little Dave.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
He's going to be there tomorrow night, right?
Shout out to the Zevster. Yeah, he's going to be at my place tomorrow. Yeah, you get to see my little guy, who's actually quite large. He's big.
He's a big kid.
He's like 10 months old, but he's wearing 2-year-old clothing.
So tomorrow night, man, we're
gigantic.
Live.
Yeah, we're live tomorrow night right after UFC 224, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net with the .net spelled out DOTNET. Check out our YouTube channel. We got all the podcasts available there. ringsidereport.net, all the info there. And real quickly, Jean-Pascal and Steve Bosse. That's a boxing match announced for June 29th that'll take place somewhere in Montreal or Laval. The location not set, but it is a boxing match that will happen. And I'm sure we'll get Matt Casava on in the next couple of weeks to discuss that one. Steve Bosse, former UFC fighter, fighting former boxing champion Jean-Pascal, comes out of retirement to fight the boss, Steve Bosse. Also, don't forget, not only will I be on right after UFC 224, but before that, right here, Wrestling Uncensored on TSN 690, right here at midnight. Wrestling Uncensored, the pro wrestling show, myself and Johnny North. Follow me on Twitter at Dave Simon MMA. Follow Fred at Freddy MMA. Follow Anthony at Dant E. Brook. RingsideReport.net is the website. iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. Thanks for listening. For Fred, for Anthony, for Muscles Marco, I'm Dave Simon, and this has been Ringside Report Radio.
Wanna reconnect with your elation.